Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Football Sunday to one and to all. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it to and through another day because, as we know, each day is a blessing. So, again, give yourselves a round of applause. One more time. Okay, that's enough of that. Welcome to this Sunday recap. Now, keep in mind there's another game about to commence shortly, so this is just a recap of games thus far. And when I tell you there were some surprises there, I tell no lie. So let us start off with looking at the standings right now. And I must say, if I have to be honest, and I am, I'm quite surprised. I'm looking like the photo in front of you, those of you that are watching or may catch the replay. So let us start with the AFC East. New England is sitting nice and comfy with 5-2. And Buffalo, surprisingly, 4-2. Miami, oh, Miami, you're sitting there at the bottom. Well, almost at the bottom with 1-6. But I didn't think at week 7 we would have any teams that still haven't put a win on the board. Oh, but I was wrong. There is a team in the AFC East, and that would be Benny, 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 and the Jets, the New York Jets. 0-7. Very sad. Very, very, very sad. Now let's travel a bit to the AFC North, where we have the terrible towel-waving Pittsburgh Steelers, who again they're sitting pretty comfortably right now, 4-2. Then we have the Cincy Bengals, 3-4. 3-4. A little surprising, but 3-4. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns who are at 2-5. And pulling up the rear. And even though they're on a bye week, they have managed to put up one win on the board. The Ravens, who many people are heartbroken and disappointed, they're at the bottom, 1-5. Let's go to the AFC South, where the Colts, my, the Indianapolis Colts, and I pat myself on the back because I predicted they would have a pretty decent season, and right now they have 6 wins with 1 loss. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, 4-3. Then we have Houston, 2-3. And pulling up the rear, we have Tennessee, 1-6. Again, we are in week 7, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, the AFC West. The Denver Broncos, who would have thunk it? 5-2. And the Chargers, 4-3, who are tied with the Chiefs, 4-3. And then we have Las Vegas, 2-5. Okay, Again, we have some games that still remain. This is just for up until the time of this recording, which is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, October the 19th, 2025. So let us travel to the NFC East, my division, and it is getting hot. Thank you. Thank you very much. Where we have a comeback, so it seems, of the Dirty Birdies of Philadelphia. Yes, the Eagles, who had fallen out of their nest somehow, some way. They added a little bit more life, and they're at 5-2. They're at 5-2 now. Before I get to the next one, because I think I'll leave that one for last. Well, actually, it's two because it's a division game, so I'll leave that one for last. Let's talk about the Giants, shall we? The Giants, the New York Giants, who at one point thought, give me a moment. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to speak to a cop. It was a situation that happened earlier that I witnessed, and I had a feeling that they might come over, but it's okay. I'm glad the young lady is okay. So let's get back to the Giants now. A couple of years ago, the Giants have had a pretty good year. They came back, and last week they did pretty well, and today they actually they had me putting my believer hat on as they faced the Denver Broncos. Now, for those of you that may have watched that game, that was, wait a minute, see, now that cop really messed me up. I'm sorry, give me a moment to collect my thoughts again. Now I'm getting ready to get a little bit upset. I'm sorry. Let me get myself together. Like I said, the cop just, that's why I had to go on mute. And I don't want to do this over. So give me a moment. Give me a moment. And I'll be back with you. Let me see who that was because I looked at some of it. Where are we? See, this is what happens when you're a good Samaritan. And I probably should have stayed on what I was doing. Give me a second. It was Denver. I don't know where my little notes are, but it was Denver. Denver. Denver took the soul out of the Giants at the last minute. Now, if you all paid attention to that game, New York was in the red zone and they actually pulled ahead. But then somehow, some way, the Broncos ended up getting into the red zone, and they had to just kick the field goal because I believe it was only 14 seconds left, and the final score of that game was 33-32. Again, the Broncos annihilated. Well, I can't say annihilated because that game was really close, but they won over the New York Giants. And I know a little birdie out there, I'm not going to say who, is probably sitting in the corner somewhere drinking Mad Dog 2020. So let me get back to where I am. I may have to go on mute again because now there's a sheriff that's pulled up, um, speaking to that young lady. Again, I gave them what it is that I saw. Hopefully, they won't need anything else, but if they do, I'm sure you all can understand. There are a lot of things happening to um, women and young girls all over, and I thought I saw something. I thought it was a little spat, but it turned out to be something more. Before I started recording, I did ask her if she was okay. She said that she was, so I went back to watching the game. So back to where I was. Next, let's look at the game of the week, at least in my eyes. The game of the week is none other than the Commanders. Yes, the Commanders, who traveled all the way to Texas to meet my boys, the Dallas Cowboys, in what many thought was going to be an upset, meaning that the young Jay Daniels was going to give Dak the business. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case because Dallas Cowboys mollywopped. And here's another sheriff that's pulled up, and I hope they're not blocking me in because I haven't done anything. They may come over and say something to me, so if so, I'm going to have to put this on mute again. But anyway, the final score was Dallas 44, Washington 22. Now, unfortunately, in this game during the second half, Jason Daniels ended up being injured in the second half with a pulled hamstring. Now, according to my research, that there are levels to hamstring pulls. If it was minor, he might have to spend a few days out. Again, depending upon the severity of it, they don't know how long he may be out, if he's going to be out long at all. But this goes back to something that I have said so many times in the past. I said it the last time that I did my picks, that it is something about Washington, who was once called the Washington Redskins, and they were called the Washington Football Team, and then they are now called the Washington Commanders. Fun fact, since 2000, meaning the year 2000, they have had 27, 7. Again, 27 quarterbacks. 27 quarterbacks. Of course, I can't name them all, but comes to mind RG3, Kirk Cousins. Everybody remembers, or those of you that have been following this team remembers RG3's injury, and then the whole quarterback controversy. Then there was Alex Smith, Gus Frerotte, Heath Shuler. Who else? Donovan McNabb, Mark Brunell, Jason Campbell. The list goes on. Trust me. So now they have this young Jason Daniels, and I think I said the last live I had as it relates to my picks, which I did very well. Thank you very much for everyone that tuned in for that show. That if the O-line does not protect this young quarterback, he may suffer an injury. And here we are at week 7, and he went out, like I said, second half with a hamstring injury. So prayers to him on a speedy, full recovery. But back to my boys, the Dallas Cowboys, who again, they won that game impressively, 44-22. So how about them boys? And I am going to be talking more stuff on Monday, which will be Victory Monday. Okay. So literally, I'm laughing. And I'm so happy. Again, Eagles, as I mentioned earlier, over Vikings, 28-22. Los Angeles laid a goose egg today. I'm sorry, Las Vegas laid a goose egg today against Kansas City Chiefs, who out of nowhere came back and put up 31. Patriots over Tennessee, 13-13. Interesting score there. Patriots 31, Tennessee 13. Couple of threes in there to look at. Then we have Miami. Miami Dolphins lost. That was a dismal loss. 6. And who gave that loss to them? None other than the Cleveland Browns. Again, that was a shocker. And anyone who bet on that game, I don't bet on sports, but they probably walked away with a pretty purse right there. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints, who had a blowout, their first, but only win. And they lost today. New Orleans Saints fell to, I can't believe it, the Chicago Bears. Final score there, 26-14. Again, the Bears over the Saints, 26-14. Again, Indianapolis Colts. 38, Chargers 24. And as I mentioned, in a nail biter. Again, this was a very good game. The Giants fell by 1 point. But someone told me 2 years ago, and I won't say their name, a win is a win. And the Broncos defeated the New York Giants. Again, final score there. Broncos 33 and the Giants 32. The Packers, the Cheeseheads of Green Bay. They actually pulled out a win, 27, over the Cardinals. Cardinals haven't done too bad, but they weren't able to bring out a win this week. Packers final score there 27 and Cardinals 23. And for those of you, again, that may be in shock of some of these games, no need to get too upset. This is the NFL, and the impossible can and will happen. So now let's go over the standings again. And I know some of you are probably sick on your stomach because you know tomorrow, Victory Monday, I am going to be talking my stuff when it comes to the Commanders and the Cowboys because I am from the DMV and I am a huge Cowboys fan, even though Cowboys had me a little bit upset for a while. So, did you miss me? Again, if you look at my video bucket a couple years back, I would religiously have my picks and I would talk my stuff during game days, but it's been so busy and I just have not had the time to do it. But today, oh, today was a good day. In the words of Ice Cube, today was definitely a good day. So, right now, standings in the NFC East: Philly 5-2, Dallas 3-1. Again, I feel as though they were cheated in that game, but I'm not going to cry because they are technically in second place. Again, Washington 3-4 after the loss today given to them by the Dallas Cowboys. Again, speedy recovery to quarterback Jay Daniels of the Washington Commanders. And the lowly New York Giants will continue to sit at the bottom, 2-5. Traveling quickly to the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers, 4-1. Detroit. Now, Detroit's another team that I talked about a couple of years ago. I said, this team, and I thought the Giants and the Lions, put them up. We're going to be the Cinderella team of the NFL, but Giants they just didn't make the cut. However, Detroit has been, as I said last time, they have truly been consistent. So they are 4-2. Do you believe that? They are 4-2. Then we have the Vikings, 3-3. Next, we travel quickly to the NFC South. As we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5-1. And Atlanta, surprisingly, 3-2. Carolina, they kind of come out a little bit with 4-3 and joining the one-hit wonders, the New Orleans Saints. Who that? New Orleans Saints, 1-6. And lastly, the NFC West, LA, sitting pretty, 5-2. San Fran, 4-2. Seattle, also 4-2. And Arizona, 2-5. So today, again, some of the surprise games. Cleveland with their win. Philadelphia, again, they were able somehow or another to redeem themselves and they came back and won. So they are still sitting At number one, the NFC East, and my boys with Dak Prescott at the helm brought it home with a 44-22 win over, again, the Commanders. I am sure Rick Doc Walker and Brian are having a fit right now, as well as so many Commanders fans. And trust me, when I get off this, I have a couple of text messages to send out to quite a few Commanders fans because all week long I've had to see Commanders flags on cars. I've seen people strutting around in their Commanders gear. And now, and I know this to be true because it happens every meeting, that there are some that travel to Texas, and it's going to be a long trip back. So again, how about them Cowboys? Oh, this is a wonderful, wonderful day. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Again, I didn't know, to be honest, what was going to happen at that game. It could have gone anywhere. Again, this injury happened to Jay Daniels in the second half, but I honestly think from what I saw, the Cowboys were clearly going to win this. I did not think it was going to be 44-22, to be quite honest with you, but it was. And I am not mad. I am actually very happy, very happy. And like I said, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful victory Monday tomorrow. Some of you are already in Monday. So again, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful way to just end a football Sunday. Again, there's one more game tonight that it's probably already started, but for now, that's it for me. And again, for the Dallas Cowboys. And again, for those Giants fans, I know that at the last 14 seconds, the last 14 seconds, when Denver was in the red zone, you all had to be feeling. And then when that final score, 33, went up on the marquee, you knew it was over. So again, that is my week 7 Sunday recap. Not the very final, because as I said, there's another game playing, but that's it for me. Again, congratulations to the winners and those whose teams did not win, because at the end of the day, we are all winners. Thank you for tuning in, and maybe I'll be back on Monday during Monday's games just to talk a little bit, but to rub a little bit more salt in the wounds of Commanders fans. Everyone, please be safe, be well, and you know the rest. Be healthier. Until next video, bye bye for now.